Hello everybody, I am Krishna Rao Patro. Today I will discuss about one important concept, that is exception handling. This is a special concept which available in Java, which makes you Java to be more robust. This is one of a unique feature of Java. This makes you the program to be more reliable. This concept which talks about how to handle the errors. What errors? Runtime errors. The other name of runtime error is called exception. When I say exception, it is nothing but runtime error. Runtime error. So whenever the runtime error comes in Java, then how to handle it? So what are the mechanisms of that? So what is the advantage of exception handling? Those things we'll discuss. The exception handling in Java is one of the powerful mechanism to handle runtime errors. Please remember, there are two kinds of error. One is compile time error, second is runtime error. Compile time error means which can be detected by the compiler itself. Those are because of some syntactical mistakes. But there are some mistakes which cannot be detected by the compiler. That will be only detected by through this mechanism, exception handling mechanism only. Those errors are special errors. Those things cannot be detected by the compiler. So the normal flow of application can be terminated. Whenever the runtime error comes, the normal flow of execution will be terminated. So automatically the program may become unstable. So to avoid that unstable, so you have to use exception handling concept. Now you have to know what is exception. Exception is a abnormal condition. An exception is an event that disrupts the normal flow of the program. It is an object which is thrown at runtime. So whenever exception comes internally, it will make an object and throw. So every exception is a abnormal condition. So those exception you cannot predict at what time it will come. Because of what reason? There are many reasons are there. Those reasons cannot be detected by the compiler. When a program encounters or unexpected termination or fault occurs, that is called exception. Exception means this is a unexpected situation. Those things cannot be identified well before also. Exception handling gives us another opportunity to recover from the abnormality. So whenever the abnormal termination comes, how to recover it, how to handle it, for that you need exception handling. So exception handling helps to recover from abnormality. Sometimes we might encounter the situation from which we cannot recover, like out of memory. They are called as errors. They are called as errors. So errors are special situation where you cannot recover also. There automatically it has to stop. So those things are called errors. So that means you will find two things. One is exception, second one is error. Exception means you can control. Through programmatic you can control. Whereas error means you cannot control also. So in Java you will find two things. What are the two things? You may get exception concept, means exception case, or you may get error case. When error comes, it has to stop, because those things you cannot recover, you cannot revert. Whereas exception you can control. There is a mechanism to handle. So those things we'll discuss now. So to handle this exception, Java supports 5 keywords. The first keyword is try. Second keyword is catch, third keyword is finally, fourth keyword is throw, and the fifth keyword is throws. There are 5 standard keywords available in Java you can use to handle the exception. Exception means what? Runtime error. So there are situations where the runtime error may come, and those things you can control through program. So whenever you want to control through program, you need these 5 keywords. First keyword is try. Try is the special keyword which is used to specify a block where you should place the exception code. There is a chance of some runtime error. The code may generate runtime error. Those code you have to write inside the try block. It means we cannot use try block alone. The try block must be followed by either catch or finally. Only try block is not sufficient. Along with the try, either you have to write catch or you have to write finally. That means only try will not work out. try will work along with the catch, or try will work along with finally, or try will work along with try catch finally also. So these are the set of keywords available in Java. Those keywords you have to use for runtime error handling or to handle the exception. Remember, sometimes I will say exception, sometimes I runtime error. Both are same. Runtime errors other name is exception. Runtime error. Okay. The catch block will activate only when there is an error or only when there is an exception in try block. The catch block is used to handle the exception. It must be preceded by the try block, which means we cannot use catch block alone. Only catch block you cannot write. You have to write catch block below the try. Below the try block. So try and then catch. So the catch block will activate only when there is error in the try block. If there is no error in the try block, the catch block will not activate. So catch block depends on the errorness of the try block. Whatever the error comes in the try, those things can be handled by the catch block. It can be followed by final block later. So you can write first try, then you can write catch, then you can write finally. This is the order. The final block is used to execute the necessary code of the program. It is executed whether an exception is handled or not. That means final block is a special block. It will activate whether there is an error in the try block or not, immaterial. That means in try block there may be some error, or in try block there may not be error also. In that case, the final block will work. This will work at any cost. So that means final block is independent of try. Final block is independent of try block. The block may have error or the block may not have error. Even if there is no error, this will execute. Or even if there is error, it will execute. So this is the specialty of final block. Then there is one more keyword called throw. The throw keyword is used to throw an exception. Whenever you want to deliberately throw, whenever you want to deliberately send a control from this try block, then you have to use a keyword called throw. So throw will send the control away from the try block. Similarly, there is another keyword called throws. Throws keyword is used to declare the exception. It specifies there may occur an exception in the method. Whenever you are writing a method, along with the method you write throws. So throws will be used along with the method, the function. Method means the function. Along with function we write throws. It does not throw an exception. It is always used with method signature. So it will throw the exception only when there is a exception in the method. Then the throws block means the throws keyword will help you to send the control to the caller program. From where it is called, it will go there. So try to know these 5 keywords. So Java supports how many keywords? 5 keywords. First is try keyword. Second is catch. Third is finally. Fourth is throw. Fifth is throws. So using these 5 keywords, you can handle your exception. Then there are different types of exception handling. One is checked exception. Second is unchecked exception. Third one is error. So that means there are different types of errors comes. Some errors you can control, some errors you cannot control. So the checked exception and unchecked exception can be controlled through program. This is can control through program, where this is you cannot control, not controllable, not controllable. Okay, so you can read it. Checked exceptions are checked at compile time. So whatever the code you are writing, that code may throw exception. That code may have runtime error. Those codes you can check during the compilation time. So the errors which can be detected by the compiler, there may be a chance of runtime error. So those exceptions are called what? Checked exception. The exception which can be checked during compilation time, that is called checked exception. There is one more exception called unchecked exception. The unchecked exception are not checked at compile time. That means compiler cannot check. During compilation time, the compiler cannot check that type of runtime errors, but they can be handled at runtime. Whenever compiler cannot check, but you can handle runtime during runtime, then that type of exception is called what? Unchecked exception. There are some exception errors that cannot be compiled by compiler, means cannot be detected by the compiler, at the same time cannot be handled during runtime also, as well as you cannot recover also. Error is irrecoverable, you cannot get back, you cannot come to reliable state. Some examples of errors are out of memory, virtual machine error, or assertion error. There are some mistakes, but there are some environmental conditions. Those things through system you can control. So those are called errors. So while writing program, you may get any type of errors. You may get a checked exception errors or unchecked exception or any errors. Those errors are unrecoverable. You cannot recover. You cannot control. Where these two can be controlled through program. Control through program. Okay. Now I can say Java supports various types of built-in classes. One of the built-in classes is throwable class. One of the above the throwable class, actually one more class is the object class. Object is the grandparent of all class. From object, the throwable comes. Throwable is the main class of exception handling. Then from exception, there are two more class. One is exception, second one is error. These are the two inherited classes. Under exception, there are some runtime exception class. There are some IO exception class also. So you will find various types of errors, various types of exceptions. So this is the hierarchy of exceptions in Java. Okay. So above all, the grandparent is always object. After this object, throwable. That means throwable is derived from object class. From throwable, these two classes came. What are the two? Exception and error. Under the error, actually there are many are there. Similarly, under the exception, there are also many are there, but I have written only few. Okay. So this is the general imagination hierarchy of exception in Java. Yeah, you can see now. Java supports following classes of hierarchy in exception handling. You can see some more classes. First is what? Throwable. Of course, above the throwable, object is there. Object is the main base class. Then throwable. Under throwable, there are two more subclass. One is exception. Second one is error. So that means for exception, the parent is throwable. For error, the parent is throwable. Under exception, I told you there are some checked exception and there are some unchecked exception. So this IO exception, SQL exception, class not found exception, you can check during the compilation time. So these things comes under your checked exception. And there are some runtime exception, array, arithmetic exception. Those things cannot be detected by the compiler. So these are unchecked exception. These are checked. So actually there are many classes are there. Some classes comes under checked exception. Some are unchecked exception. Number format exception, index out of exception. They are all unchecked exception. Okay. So you will find set of classes. Some classes are checked, some are unchecked. Similarly, there are some classes related to error, stack overflow error, or virtual machine error, or out of memory error. These are the different kinds of errors are available. Those things cannot be detected by compiler as well as cannot be controlled through program also. So whichever things comes under exception, that can be controlled through program. That can be controlled using program. For that, you have to use the keyword called try, catch, throw, swing. Whereas whatever the errors comes here, this side, uncontrolled, you cannot control, cannot be controlled through program. Cannot be controlled by program. Okay. So these are the different set of classes available in Java. and some are exception, some are error. Again under exception, some are checked, some are unchecked. So try to know what are the different categories of exceptions. So this is the hierarchy of exception handling mechanism in Java. Why exception may come? What are the reasons? Reasons for exception handling. Reasons for exception handling. There are several reasons are there. Those reasons leads to occurrence of exception. A few of them are followed. When we try to open a file that does not exist may lead to an exception. See, we are trying to open a file but the file doesn't exist. That means syntactically it looks correct, but during runtime it will say that file not found. So these things comes under your one type of exception. Similarly, when the user enters invalid input, it may lead to an exception. So I'm asking you give data, but you are giving some invalid input. That input I cannot process. So it may generate some runtime error. So that also one type of exception. Similarly, one more. Whenever a network connection has lost during the program execution, that may lead to an exception. So those things also cannot be detected by the compiler. So that is also one type of exception. When you are trying to access the memory beyond the allocated range of memory, it may lead to an exception. You are having a memory in the system, but you are going out of the boundary. Then that time also one type of error may come. That is also called exception. So these are the various areas where you can find runtime errors or exceptions. The physical device problems may also lead to an exception. So these are the various reasons where you may get the chance of exception. So whenever this type of situation comes, then there is always runtime errors. Whenever this error comes, you have to handle it. Now, you can write a simple program how the program may generate runtime error and how you can handle. So for handling runtime error, you would use the keyword called try and catch. So try is the block. Inside the block, you can write set of statements. Here, my statement is data equal to 100 by 0. So here what is given? 100 by 0. What is the value of 100 by 0? Something by 0 is not possible. That is infinite. So whenever something by 0 comes, then it will throw exception. Now here, syntactically correct, but there is an error. That error is called exception. Because something by 0 is not possible. Same thing if you write in other language, the program will stop immediately. But here, I do not want to stop the program. I want to continue at least. That means the abnormality condition I should stop. So whenever this error comes, immediately it will throw exception. It will throw exception. Then below the try, there is a block called catch block. This catch block is catching the exception. What exception? Because this is related to arithmetic. Something by 0. That is not possible. So this error is known as arithmetic exception. So the syntax is try, catch, followed by exception, followed by the name of the object E. So E is my referential object for the arithmetic exception. And then print that error. Print that error. So automatically that error will be printed on the screen. So what is that error? After that, the control will go in a sequential way, in a continuous manner till end of the program. So those parts of the program will execute. Now automatically we will get a by statement. So this is the way the exception program is written. This is a simple program to display a simple arithmetic error, arithmetic exception error. So now onwards, in your program, there may be chance of errors. So those statement always keep in a try block. Always keep in a try block. Once you keep in a try block, then if at all there is an error, then that error will be thrown as exception form. That exception has to be catch. So you can write either single catch or you can write multiple catch. Every catch is responsible to catch one type of errors or one type of runtime errors. So once the error comes, then the control will go in a sequential way till down, till end of the program. Okay. So this is a simple program. Now we'll see what are the various scenarios where unchecked exceptions may occur. Unchecked exception means those exceptions cannot be detected by the compiler during compilation time. So arithmetic exception, I think you have seen the previous program. This is comes under unchecked exception. This comes under your unchecked exception because during compilation time the compiler cannot detect this error. So that error will be identified by the JVM during runtime only, but not during the compilation time. So your arithmetic exception comes under your unchecked exception. This is occurs whenever you are dividing by 0. Something by 0 is not possible. Then that is known as arithmetic exception. Similarly, one more unchecked exception is called null pointer exception. Because there are many exceptions are there. I am writing very few scenarios here, very important and standard scenarios. If you have a null value in any variable, performing any operation on the variable will throw null pointer. Because in null pointer, you cannot do anything. On null value, can you do any operation? No, not possible. Assume there is a null string. Now I will ask you find the length. Or I will ask you compare with some other thing. Or I will ask you convert into uppercase or convert into lowercase. For null string, you cannot do anything. Whenever you are doing operation on the null data, then it will throw null pointer exception. This error also cannot be detected by the compiler. So this also comes under unchecked exception. So whenever you are trying to print the length, then that will throw null pointer exception. Similarly, other scenario, number format exception. Number format exception also one type of unchecked exception. If the formatting of any variable number is mismatched, or it may result into number format exception. Suppose we have a string variable that has characters. Converting the variable into digit will cause number format exception. For example, S equal to ABC. S is a string variable and storing ABC. Now, I want to convert that string into integer. Is it possible to convert the string ABC into integer? Answer is no. So, during runtime, whenever you are trying to convert from string to integer, then you will get an error. That is called number format exception. For example, if I write here SC equal to within double quote 1, 2, 3. It is also string. But I can convert this into integer 1, 2, 3. So here you will not get any error. But when I write SC equal to within double quote A 2, 3, then it is a string which is not possible to convert into integer. So here you will get exception, but not here. So in this type of statement may generate number format exception because those errors cannot be detected by the compiler during compilation time. Similarly, there is one more situation where array index out of bounds exception. When array exceeds to its size, the array index out of bound exception occurs. There may be other reasons to occur. Consider the following statement. There is an array with capacity 5. A is an array with size 5. 0, 1, 2, 3. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Totally 5 locations. Now you are trying to store what? A of 10 is 50. That means you are going out of the boundary. At the 10th place, you want to store 50. But 10th location is not there for the array. So when there is no such location, then how will you store? It is not possible. So in that case, you will get an error. Array index out of bounds exception. Because you are going out of the boundary. So this type of mistakes or this type of errors cannot be detected by the compiler during compilation time. That's why it is also known as unchecked exception. So there are various types of reasons where the compiler cannot detect those errors or those runtime error is known as unchecked exception. Then what are the different types of errors? One is runtime error, logic error and syntax error. Runtime error occurs while the program is running if the program environment detects the operation that is impossible to carry out. That is called runtime error. The error which is detected during runtime, that is called runtime error. Logical error means which occurs when the program does not perform the way you intended. That means logically wrong. Syntactically correct, but whatever the logic you have written to solve the problem, that logic may be wrong. So those type of errors are called logical errors. So in a program, you may find runtime error or you may find logical error. Logical error completely depends on the programmer. Okay. Whereas runtime error completely depends upon your input as well as your environment. Fine. And there is one more error called syntax errors. Syntax error means what? It arises because the rules of the language have not yet followed. They are dictated by the compiler. So while writing program, you may write some program, but you are not following the syntax of the language. Then those syntactical mistakes can be detected by the compiler during compilation time. Those are called syntax error. So while writing program, you may find any kind of errors. Then there are different types of runtime error handling mechanisms available in Java. You can handle either through try catch block or try with multiple catch. That means what? There are different situations. You may use try with single catch or try with multiple catch or try within a try, nested try you may use. So your program may use any kind of mechanism to handle the exception. Or you can write try with final block or try catch with finally try catch and finally also. Or you may use throw keyword in your program, or you may use throws keyword in your program, or you may use customize exception also. So these are the different mechanisms are available in Java. So while writing program, either you may choose first one try catch, or second you may use try with multiple catch, or third you may use nested try, or fourth you may use try with the final block, fifth you may use try catch, and finally sixth one you may use throw keyword inside the try block. Of course throw you can write inside the try block, or you may use throws keyword along with method. Seventh one, and you can use your customize exception. So there the various mechanisms are there to handle the exception. So the fellow who is strong in Java, so he will be trying to implement all the concepts so that your program will be more reliable. Okay, of course depending on the application you may choose either first one or second one, or first with second or first with third. Any combination you can use. Now see how the control moves. First you are writing a try block. In try block you are writing set of statement, a block of code that causes an exception. That one of the code, one of the statement may cause some errors. That time that will throw exception. When we are throwing the exception, then the catch block will ready to handle, but ready to hold it, ready to catch it. So a block of code that catches and handle the exception thrown by the try block. Whatever the code means exception you thrown, the catch block is catching. So that time the exception handler is taking care. The remaining part will come as it is. This is a simple example. Try code, then you can write set of lines. In that set of lines, one of the line may create some errors. That error may be catch. So it may be divided by 0, or maybe this is your generalized exception. See, again there are two types of error. One is generalized exception, second one is specialized exception. Divide by 0 exception is specialized exception. Only exception is generalized exception. So it can catch any kind of errors, whereas this can catch only one error. Okay, and you have to write the final keyword at the bottom, but this is optional. You may write, may not write, or sometime you may write try with final only without writing catch. So if at all any error comes but you are not handling, in that case what will happen? it will come to finally, then the control will throw into JVM, then the OS will take care. Automatically program will stop. So you can write try with finally also, or you can write try with catch and catch with finally also. They are the various coding style. Depending upon your application's requirement, you may choose any of the technique. Finally, I can conclude. Exceptions are powerful error handling mechanisms. Exceptions Java are built into the language. Exceptions can be handled by the programmer with try and catch, or it can be handled by the environment using throws keyword. Exception handling cannot correct the errors. It will not correct the errors, just it will hold the error and it will allow you to move in a sequential way one by one till end of the program. Next, it stops the abnormal termination of the program. This is the main idea behind exception handling. Is it clear? Now, I'll show you a small program where the exception handling you can do easily. Now see, I'll write a small program. Exception handling program plus exception demo. Assume I want to add two number. I want to add two number. That two number I want to read through command line argument. After reading the two number from command line argument, then I want to add. So what is my question? Read two integer from command line arguments and do add operation. This is my goal. So while reading data, there is a chance of some wrong input. So whenever you are reading data through command line, the data always comes in string format. That string format I have to convert into integer. So while translating from string to integer, there is a chance of number format exception. Those exception I have to handle. So let us solve this problem using exception handling. Then what I have read? Public static void main string arguments array. Okay, I got the main method. Through command line I want to pass. That means the data will be coming through args argument and the data is always in the string. Now whatever the data comes in the argument array, the data is always in string. So that data I have to convert into integer. So how to convert into integer? I think I told you in the previous session, there is a method called parseInt. ParseInt is a method which will convert the numerical string into integer. So use parseInt to convert numerical string into integer. So what I will do? I will declare the two variable int a comma b comma c also, because first number is a, second number is b. After adding a and b, I want to store in c. So I have declared three variables. So first variable is a. A should get the data from args of 0. But if I write this way, what happens? Because args 0 is what? String. But a is my integer. Can I store string in integer? No. It is not possible. Because right side is string, left side is integer. It is not compatible. So for that what I will do? Because I know that the numerical string I can convert into integer with the help of a special method called parseInt method. This parseInt method is part of a class called integer class. So here what I will do, I will apply integer class. So how to write? integer. Integer is a class. Inside the class there is a method called parse int. This parse int takes a method called string argument, 0th argument. Whatever the argument you are passing, that argument I am translating. That I will store in A. So you should write this way. Automatically the first data is converted into integer. Similarly next data is available at argument of 1. So control C, control V, here 1. So 0th argument and 1th argument I am converting B. Now I want to convert into C. C equal to A plus B. Because now A is integer, B is integer. Integer plus integer is integer. So my C also integer. So here now there is no problem. So this program having no mistake as per the syntax is concerned. Now I want to display the result. System dot out dot println the sum. My sum is available in C. This value I am concatenating with C. Now let us run the program. Exception demo. Control C, Control S, Control V, Java source file, storing in Patro folder, going to the command prompt. How to go to command prompt? Go to exception demo, open information folder, okay, Java C, exception demo. Yes, now the program syntactically correct. Now if I type Java ex demo, I think I told in the previous session how to read command line argument. Ex demo is the class. Yes, I am passing 12. Second number is 13. So what I should get answer? 12 plus 13, 25. Yeah. So I have given the correct data. So we are getting correct output. But if I give some wrong data, for example, 123 followed by ABCD. First data is correct, but second data is wrong. In that case, what happened? It is throwing exception. It is throwing exception. What is the exception? Number format exception. Did you observe? So that means it is not able to translate where in the input ABCD. The ABCD is not a valid numerical string. For 123 there is no problem. Whereas for ABCD there is a problem. Because ABCD cannot be translated into integer. This is my 0th argument. This is my first argument. 0th argument is no problem. Whereas first argument having trouble. So this is my 0th argument. This is my second argument. Here having some trouble. So what I will do? As I know that there is a chance of wrong input. So whenever such input comes, then the system may generate runtime error. So for that what I will do? I will put in a try block. Try. This error I should not get. This control C, catch, CATCS, catch. Either you can write exception. If you write exception, this is called generalized exception, because exception is the parent of all types of exception. I think I told you the hierarchy. First is throwable, below throwable, one is exception, second one error. Under exception, again array index out of exception, number format exception. There are many exceptions are there. So for all exception class, parent is exception. So you can write the parent class exception E. Then you can print a message system dot out dot println E is my object. What object? Exception object. Dot. There is a method called print stack trace. Print stack trace. It will trace out where that error has come. Either you can print this way or you can print another way also. You can print only E. Then it will print the complete error object. Or if you do not want to print first one or second one, there is another way. System dot out dot println wrong input. I can say wrong input. So you can choose any of the way. I have written the three way. This is the first way. This is the second way of printing the error message, or this is the third way. You choose only one, but not all. So let me choose first. I'll put a comment. Third one I'm printing. Now let us run. First I'll compile. Yes, compile successfully. Now run. Yeah, sum equal 25. There is no error. If there is no error, control will not go to catch block. So please remember, if there is error only in the try block, then only the catch block will activate. Otherwise, catch will be silent. Assume I'll give one more. ABCD. Yeah, this is wrong input. Input is wrong. Now, because 12 is a valid one, whereas 13 ABC is invalid one. Whenever is invalidity comes, it is not able to translate into number. In that case, it is throwing exception. Whenever exception comes, the catch block is catching. It is saying, you can print this way, or assume I'll put second one. This I'll put comment. This I'm enabling. See, if at all I give wrong input, how the error comes. Compile it. Yes, compile successfully. Now I'm giving wrong input. Yeah, it is saying that java.lang number format exception for input string 13 ABC. For 13 ABC, the error has come because it is not able to translate. Because I wrote what? Parsing method. It is not able to translate for the second data. For 0th argument, you are not getting error. For first argument only, you are getting error. Is it okay? Now, let us see first one. I'll put this one, comment. This one I'll. Again, compile it. Yes. E.print structure. Wait. Syntactical errors. So, when you write E.print structure, you should not write this. You should not write this. You should write only E.print structure. That's all. Earlier it was comment, no error. Now, Java C. Yeah. Now there is no error. Now Java X demo. Assume I giving 137TY. Yeah. Now there is error. Error has come here because it is a invalid data. So you can print those mistakes in the catch block. Now you may ask a question. Then what happened? Everything is showing error. But still, if at all any statement is there, assume system.out.println. Assume by statement I want to execute. I want to execute by statement. In that case, what will happen? Compile it. Yes, compile successfully. Then run it. Now, this error has come, no doubt. But still, the program is in active state because of the active state, the by statement has come. By statement has come. So, even though there is a error, runtime error, from that point onwards, it is not stopping. From that point onwards, it is taking the control to catch block. Then, remaining part of the program, it is continuing. So, whenever the error comes, now the error has occurred here. From that point, the control is thrown to catch block. After coming to catch block, the control comes down till end of the program. Of course, these statements are not executing, no doubt. Because control error has come here. Here error. Here error. Wherever the error comes, from that point, the control is thrown. Okay? Then it comes to catch block. From catch, it goes in a sequential manner. These two statements are neglected because control has come out of the try block. Control has come out of the try block. These two will not execute at any cost because you have thrown the control from the try block. So this is the way the try and catch works. So they are the different types of programs. In the next session, we will see how you can use try within a try, or try with multiple cats, or try with catch, and finally, as well as try with the throw, try with the throws, all varieties of program. We'll continue in the next session. Okay. Thank you.
Like, share and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.